West Bengal Governor Jagdeep Dhankar met Union Home Minister Amit Shah and discussed with him what he described as the worrisome situation in the state after the violence that broke out in North Bengal. Also, the controversial death of a BJP MLA. According to some reports, even told the Home Minister the governance in the state was on the cliff edge. During the meeting, the Governor apprised the Home Minister about the prevailing law and order and political as well as the COVID situation in West Bengal. Today, the West Bengal government has announced a 2-day lockdown every week. Now, it's also emerged that 4 MPs were also met with Home Minister Amit Shah. And today, the Governor Jagdeep Dhankar has also tweeted that urged Mamta to give up confrontation against Governor and central government. We can serve suffering people only by following constitution and rule of the law. Well, let's go across to Monideepa now for more on this. So, Monideepa, the pressure really building on Mamta Banerjee. She's facing the crisis due to coronavirus also in the state, and now this short-term lockdown has been called for. These tensions with the governor pointing out about the law and order situation, especially after those protests in North Bengal and the death of a BJP MLA.
Well, the MLA who died at Hemtabad last week was with the BJP, but he was off the CPM party. So there too is a little twist that a CPM MLA who had turned to BJP died, and of course, the family claimed that he was murdered, but the police post-mortem, which came out on the same day as the death, said it was a case of suicide because of financial reasons. That plus yesterday, again in the same area, there was this horrific case of 2 young teenagers, school-going teenagers also dying. On Sunday, the girl; on Monday, the boy's body was found. That too has led to a lot of politics. There is Amphan relief. That has been another major cause of upheaval out in the villages. Amphan, after the cyclone, huge devastation, and the attempt to distribute relief equitably, that came under a huge amount of questioning, people protesting that there was corruption by Trinamool Panchayat leaders and nepotism by them as well, something that Mamta Banerjee was not able to entirely dismiss. So yes, a whole range of issues coming up, and it's not just the governor who is in a way questioning Mamta Banerjee almost every step of the way. The BJP has also been very vociferous in their questioning of the chief minister's handling of COVID, Amphan relief, education sector. That's another one in which there are a lot of sensitivities involved. All this, on a day when Mamta Banerjee will be addressing her 21st July rally, all eyes on that, because it is likely that she will kind of give out a sense of the strategy that the party will be, adopting in the run-up to the 2021 Assembly elections. That's the big one. Amit Shah on the 14th of June already sort of set the ball in motion with a virtual rally at which he almost virtually blew the bugle, the poll bugle. How Mamta Banerjee responds today will be very, very keenly watched. She will be addressing the rally from her home at Kalighat, that's what we are being told, and from 1 o'clock on, thousands of people are expected to gather at different places, not at one place, at different places. Party workers have been told to gather in small numbers of 30 at most at several places across the state, and they'll be watching the address live on social media.
All right, Monideepa, thanks so much for joining us with those details. Well, to talk more about Bengal, we're now joined by Tausif Ahmed Khan, political analyst and advocate and someone who supports the Trinamool. Also joining us is Desh Ratan Nigam, political analyst and someone who supports the BJP. Well, first to you, Tausif Khan, a lot of pressure building on Mamta Banerjee, her handling of the COVID situation also coming under criticism. The governor meeting with Amit Shah and then talking about how he's worried about the law and order situation in West Bengal. And again, this recent tweet where he's in a sense reaching out to her and saying give up this confrontation against the government, against the governor and the central government.
Well, Mamta Banerjee is a very capable leader of handling both the administrative issues and political issues, the political pressure that the opponent tried to build, including the governor. Well, to handle the COVID situation, you're aware that 2 days weekly lockdown, complete lockdown has been announced. On a weekly basis, there will be a lockdown for 2 days. Apart from that, we already have containment zones, the areas which have been confined as prone to COVID, and therefore they have been identified as containment zones, and we follow the strict lockdown in those areas. So talking about governor, he speaks like a mouthpiece of BJP propaganda machine. Unfortunately, you see, a governor we expect to be neutral because he holds a constitutional post. But you will not find a single sentence that the governor repeats that the state government says. On the contrary, you will find that the governor repeats each and every sentence that is spoken by the BJP leader. Well, this is a sorry state of affairs, but Mamata Banerjee is very well equipped to deal with such criticism, and she likes to take these criticism head on. For an example, I will tell you.
The two-day lockdown that has been announced now comes after last week when the Home Secretary claimed that there would be no lockdown. There's no need for one. But Desh Ratan, do come in here. Yes, there's been a lot of sparring between the governor and the West Bengal government, and the latest, of course, with the governor going and meeting Amit Shah.
See, let me first tell you about the governor. I know Honorable Governor quite well since a very, very long time. He's a seasoned politician and a very senior advocate of the Supreme Court. And he knows the Constitution.
There's definitely a lot of politics in Bengal, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, and he knows the Constitution so well that even many senior advocates are not even cannot even claim that. So far as COVID is concerned, too little, too late. That is the phrase that can be used for West Bengal. Initially, they had left it, at the mercy of God. They did not take steps. They, in fact, had hidden the number of deaths also. Then the committee from the central government went, and then after that, they started taking things seriously. And we hope and pray that the situation in West Bengal is controlled sooner than later. Now, let us be very clear. Today is their Martyrs' Day, but who are getting martyred there? RSS workers, BJP workers. In fact, Communist and Congress workers are also getting martyred there. In fact, they seem to be celebrating their martyrdom rather than TMC's martyrdom. And if you look at the National Crime Record Bureau's data that is available latest, the highest political killings are taking place in West Bengal. So what governor says is not as a mouthpiece, is only reflecting the realities of West Bengal. The communal killings, the tuk-tuki cases of West Bengal are quite known. In fact, they are popularly called as tuk-tuki cases on account of the girl called Tuk-tuki who was gang raped by a particular community. So I think the co-panelists must understand this is about the people of West Bengal and stop killing people. TMC should not, take the baton from the earlier Congress and the Communist Party. It seems the baton has passed to TMC so far as political killing is concerned. And take the COVID seriously.
All right. So Desh Ratan, there are a whole lot of arguments being made against the Mamata Banerjee government, and Tausif Ahmed, it really does seem she's dealing on several fronts, the crisis. One is the coronavirus, then of course this law and order situation and what we've just seen happening in North Bengal, those protests, also the death, the controversial death of a BJP MLA. So several, fronts that she's facing a lot of pressure from. Also the Amphan relief, there's a talk of a lot of corruption there. So it'll be very key to see what she says in her address later today.
Well, yes. Let me make one small correction. The death that took place, every death is an unfortunate death. But BJP should be ashamed of doing politics over dead body. They are claiming this MLA who died as a BJP MLA, whereas he fought the election in 2006 on CPM ticket. He has not resigned.
Yes, I believe that he was with the CPM and then he joined the BJP. But even so, just to talk about, the several fronts that Mamata Banerjee is facing pressure on. And yes, the handling of the COVID situation is also coming under a lot of criticism.
And she has a capable team giving her advice. Like there's a board, the people were consulted, and then they gave this advice that let us observe a 2-day complete lockdown to break the chain. Because you see, there is one more thing to be remembered, that on June 8th, the COVID death had 65% of patients with comorbidity conditions. And it has now risen to about 82%. The state government is procuring RT-PCR machines for testing, and the target is to reach 25,000 testing per day. So government is taking steps as being advised by the committee of experts to curb the spread of corona, to curb the alleged corruption in the Amphan relief, and also to tackle the political war that the governor has opened with the state government. It is very unfortunate for the governor to take a stand, to take a political stand, at least from the governor who holds a constitutional post. People of the state expect the governor to be neutral and not to take a political stand, which he unfortunately is taking.
All right, but we'll just have to leave it there. And as I said, it will be key to see what Mamata Banerjee says during her address today. It is the Trinamool Martyrs Day, and she will be addressing all the followers from her home, and it will be shared on social media as well as on screens that have been put up in Trinamool offices by the party. Thanks so much both for joining us on the show today.